Welcome to today's workshop, you guys. Today is workshop number 2 in Claude Code. We're going to be working inside of Cursor with Claude Code today. And the whole thing that we're going to cover today is skills. Ben, our AI architect, our Claude Code master over here, is going to walk us through this session. And eventually we're going to get to a point where I'll be able to show you guys live how to build a skill for one of my use cases. So we'll go over that in a bit, but first I just want to hand over this time to Ben to take it away from here.
All right. I'll just start off by sharing my screen. So first of all, hi everybody. Hope you're having a good day. Yeah, so as Mason said, we're going to be looking at Claude skills and I guess some of the assets that will come around with them as well. So what we can see here is in this diagram, often we know we're doing things over and over again. There must be a better way. Before Claude and before AI, before a lot of automation, we would write standard operating instructions and kind of follow them. So what we're going to cover, we're going to find out why skills matter, why Claude skills and agent skills matter. We'll go through some of the key concepts. We'll look at the differences between skills, commands, and the CLAUDE.md file. We will look at skills from a technical perspective. We'll have a look at the structure of the skills, kind of prompts and scripts and so forth. Then we'll look at how we can actually go and get your skills. So you can create your skills, you can go to different marketplaces, and then we'll build some skills. We'll show different ways of building a skill, and maybe some work better for you than others. And then we're going to do some live builds. And hopefully we'll have time to do 2 live builds. So why skills matter? Okay. So before, and for those of you that have been playing around with Claude, or ChatGPT, we're often writing the same prompts over and over again to achieve something that's very sort of similar. So what we can do is kind of wrap that up in a skill, and we get the same experience each time, and we end up saving a lot of time per week, hours. We get the consistency as well. We get a polished output. Okay, so skills, they're really just repeatable workflows. So what you can do, for instance, just imagine you were recording yourself doing a task on the computer, and at the end of it, you would summarize what you did. And if you could wrap that up in a skill or a workflow, then you could click on a button. Maybe for those that have used Excel, you could just run a macro. But with a skill, you can go across many different systems. So examples might be you want to go and write a proposal to a prospect, and you want to get the consistency of the look and theme. You want to reuse what you've done before. Like an example that I'll take you through is last week we went through some training. We got a transcript, and from there what we did, we kind of summarized the information and wrote some companion notes. And we're going to wrap that up in a skill. And you can also chain your skills as well. So you can get one skill calling another skill to get a multi-step process. So for those of you that have used N8N and Make, the idea is you can get workflows talking to one another, passing in key data. So skills, okay, what they have a skill name. They'll have a description as well, and descriptions are really important because we need to make sure that the right skill is invoked at the right time. Often there's confusion between skills and commands. Okay. And what we've got here with a command, you use the / symbol, and then you type in the command name. So that gets explicitly called rather than implicitly. And then with the CLAUDE.md file, we touched on that last week. What we said was that's a really important file. It's like your system prompt, or it's like your brain. It knows about your project, and that gets loaded into memory every single session. Okay, so that's really best for persistent rules and identity, whilst commands, they're best for action-focused tasks. And skills, typically they're more complicated than the commands, and they also have scripts or programs associated with them. They don't have to, but often they do. When I got started with skills, Claude skills, I would find some of the skills at the project level and like global level. I got a little bit confused, but the idea is when you go and create these skills, you can associate them with the project you're working on, or you can make them available for all projects. What you'll find in your users folder in Windows, for example, you see a Claude directory, then skills, and you can see all the different skills that you have. So with a skill, when you go and create a skill, the mandatory requirements is you have a folder, that's typically the skill name, and then you have a markdown file, which is called CLAUDE.md. And then you can have these optional folders. So these optional folders, yeah, they're good because it just allows you to get organized, but you don't need them. Okay. And then in August 2025, kind of the skills adopted this front matter YAML kind of convention. So here we've got the name of the skill, the description. We get a number of different attributes, what tools are allowed and so forth. And this predominantly came about from the introduction of agent skills. All right, so yeah, with Claude skills, then you can go and create your own skills, or you can get hold of third-party skills. So I'll just quickly show you where we can get them from Claude itself. So if I go into Claude, have a look. Okay, so I'm in Claude Desktop. If I click on the plus symbol here and then click on the skills, where I can see I've got, these are all my existing skills. And here, if I select add skills, then I've got the ability to add existing skills on the marketplace. Obviously, these skills, they're going to be vetted by Claude or Anthropic, so they're going to be safe to use. Yes, we'll have a look at a couple of these. So they've got skills to help with your brand guidelines. They've actually got a skill creator, which is really quite useful. So we'll be using that one, and that's a skill to go and create skills, if you like. Yeah. Okay, so there is a marketplace for these skills, and there are also external marketplaces as well. Anthropic marketplace, we could see those skills in Claude Desktop, Claude Cowork, and they're vetted by Anthropic. Okay, and what we've got here, yeah, they're safe to install. You can do that with confidence. So when you're getting started out, create your own skills, but get them from the Anthropic marketplace. But if you go to third parties, so obviously you need to make sure that there's no malware in there. So there are some marketplaces. We'll look at the skillsmp.com, where you can get skills from. Often these skills can be of excellent quality, but you do need to make sure that they are safe. And you can also get skills from each other. You can share skills with your teammates, your work colleagues, and so forth.
Nice.
So what we find is, like, normally what I do, I'm just speaking to Claude. If I'm in Claude Desktop, I will probably have had a conversation, and I say, all right, based on the conversation, I kind of want to reuse what I've just produced. I go create me a skill, and it may ask me a couple of questions, and it creates me a skill. And what it then does, it actually downloads the skill, or prompts me to download the skill into this folder. Okay, so .claude/skills. Let me just, I'm going to go back. I think it's worth me showing you. But if I go into here, I guess users. Okay, so there's a Claude folder, and then we go into the skills here. So you can see that these skills are not associated with a particular project. So what that means is all of these skills are available regardless of what project I'm in. If I went into Claude Code, what I can see here then is this is a particular project. I don't have any skills in here, but what we'll find is you will create a Claude skills folder, and we will have skills in there that are project level skills. Okay.
Cool.
So get your skills, create your skills, share your skills, but be safe in the skills that you download, especially from external third-party sources. And again, remember, why are we using skills? Because we're really using them to kind of buy back time, and to make things more consistent, of a higher quality. And really what you're doing is you're kind of building components in, I guess what I would like to say is like my own Claude architecture or operating system. So I have like many different skills and commands. What I'm going to show you now is what I've kind of got set up. So these are all my skills and all my commands. So I can switch from the commands to the skills. And so what I also did, I created a skill to go and create this diagram. Now, what we've got here is that if I look at it, I've got a number of integration skills. I've got an N8N, a workflow skill. I got super data, which can go and look at YouTube feeds and get me relative information. I've got content and marketing skills, writing skills, maybe get rid of M dashes or don't make it too AI kind of generated.
Smart.
Thumbnail skills, and I'd noticed this morning. I'm not sure why I've got 4 hyperframe skills. I know I don't. I've only got the one, but we'll look at hyperframe and Remotion. And what we're going to be doing at the end is going and using Remotion to create a skill, to create some animation. So yeah, there's lots of skills, lots of commands. You build them up and it just makes everything a lot faster. Okay, so we'll move on. I've got 3 ways to build. There are many different ways to build, but these are 3 core ways. So you can use the skill creator. And as we saw in Claude Desktop or in the Claude Marketplace, there was a skill called skill creator. And so Anthropic have written a skill that will then allow you to go and create other skills. So you can kind of, and the way I would do that is quite often I would say, okay, I want to create a skill. These are my ideas. We may go back and forth talking about it, and then it goes and invokes. You don't see it, but it invokes this skill creator and creates a skill for you. So the other way is to do it is you can just speak into your phone and just record. Maybe you've come out of a meeting and you can use the transcription from Fireflies or Teams, but let's say you don't need to go to that level. You may just record yourself for 2 or 3 minutes. Then I would just push that into Claude to get the transcript and then go create a skill. Or what I would do, I would just click on the mic button directly, or perhaps I would use Whisper Flow that I have, and I would use my voice to go and create a skill. Now, it's going to be so much quicker than just sort of typing away, and encourage people to, start really building that as their core, using their voice to get your ideas and thoughts out, because I know my typing speed, I'm not sure what it is, 35, 40 words per minute, but with Whisper Flow, it's around about 140 words per minute, so it's so much faster.
Yeah.
And then what we can do is use external knowledge. So not just external knowledge, but your own proprietary knowledge, your IP, if you like. And that's really where the true value is going to come in. But you probably don't want to be sharing those skills. And it's all about more about context engineering than prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is still very important, but with using your context, using your data and your information, that's where you can really leverage skills. Okay, so there's 3 ways. A 4th way that I often see on YouTube is that what people do is they will record themselves using their computer doing a particular task, and then screenshots are taken, that's get fed into Claude, and they go and create a Claude skill that way. So there's 4 ways for you. So we're going to create a skill, and this is the process behind creating a skill. We describe what the skill is. We define the trigger. Now, a trigger is just what invokes it. So if I was to say, right, we're going to create a skill to create animation for a YouTube video, like the introduction, the trigger may be create animation, create intro, animate this. You're just looking for keywords that will trigger that skill, because as I said, the skills need to have a clear description. They're not like commands that get explicitly invoked. Okay. And then what we're going to do is write the body of the skill. And behind the scenes, what's happening is that that's really a prompt. So, yeah, that's a prompt. And when I say write it, you're really writing it with the help from Claude. So you may describe something, you may be speaking into Claude, and then you can go, what do you think about this? Am I missing any edge cases? And then you can review the output, and then you can deploy and test the skill. Now, normally what happens for me is like, okay, I've deployed and tested the skill, but then I want to refine it. And what I will do is I'll run it and go, oh, I don't quite like that. It didn't handle this. Or I've particularly found that, especially when I've gone and tried to generate documents and I wanted really quite a consistent look and feel to them. And that's really just sort of building up your brand guidelines, but
Yeah.
you're optimizing the skill. Yeah. So, and it is that trade-off between, well, you can do it one-off in about 5 minutes, but you may end up spending 15 minutes to really improve the skill. But then once you've improved it, it's just going to take 10 or 20 seconds then, isn't it, to invoke the skill. So
Yeah,
I would just say invest in yourself. And even if you've gone and developed a skill that you're putting quite a few hours into it and you don't really use it, that learning you're going to be able to apply to other skills. So it's just something that we need to improve ourselves. Okay, so we'll go into the two demos now. So what we have is the first demo I'm going to do, and that's really looking at, it's really the transcript of last week's video. I'm going to take that transcript, and what I want to do is generate some companion notes and look at, I guess, the companion notes is really to help people viewing these videos historically. They can look at the companion notes and they can get an idea of, is it relevant for them? Should they watch the video? Or if it is relevant for them, it actually just enriches the learning experience. Okay. So there's always an input, which is the source, and there's always an output. So here we've got as I said, the output's the companion notes, the input is the transcript. So we get, and we're going to generate a skill. So we'll have a name, we'll have a description, and we'll have the instruction notes as well. And then the second one, which is going to be quite a lengthy one, we're going to be looking at using Remotion to go and create some animation. Here, the input is an audio file, and its output then is a video. No point speaking too much about that. I think when we actually get to do it, we will really see.
Yeah, I can show an example.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. So this slide, then I want to come back at the very end of this lesson. Okay, right. So the first thing I want to do, I'm going to upload the transcript. Okay, let me just go into here. Try to remember. So what I'll do next is, if I go into and have a look at the prompt, okay. Okay, what we're looking at here, this is something that I've done before. I ended up creating this prompt, but I just want to sort of talk through the prompt. Okay, so what I'm saying here is that you are creating supplementary companion notes for a recorded video, and so that's what I'm saying is what I want to do. Okay, and here's a bit of a summary. So we're saying, look, I want a few sections. I want a summary of what this 1 hour workshop was all about. Yeah, so the user can just read that in 2 or 3 sentences, and I'm saying keep it business focused rather than technical. So even though we're talking about technology and AI, we don't want to lose people. We want to say what it is, what's in it for them from a business perspective. And then what I've got is what does the video cover? So it's saying 6 or 8 bullet points, demos, takeaways on a concise system. And then we go into the key concepts and terminology. So I've got 2 sections, system thinking and terminology. So from a systems thinking, with AI, it's always sort of changing, but often the core foundational concepts and mental models are not. So I really want to bring that through into the companion notes so the training material doesn't become old. Okay. And then what I've well, sorry, the bit before. So I'm saying, okay, I want it, I put it in this particular format. And then the final step is to say that, all right, at the beginning of it, during the workshop, did I say anything that was factually incorrect? So it's kind of just testing the quality, yeah, of the information. Okay, so you don't need to go and write this as cleanly as this, but if I went in here and I went like, I'm just going to, so I've uploaded the transcript, right? I'm not going to say, write me a skill yet. Now, I'm using something called Whisper Flow, which is that speech to text. So I'm going to invoke that and start speaking away. All right. Okay. All right. So I've uploaded a transcript. It's based on a 1 hour sort of instructional video. Two of us are going back and forth, doing a demo, asking questions, answering it. It was really we were building landing pages using Airtable. And what I want to do is write some companion notes. And really at the start of it, I really want to have a summary. And then below it, I really want to get into, well, what did the video cover? Maybe give me 6 steps. And then go into really a systems thinking and a terminology, maybe 3 bullet points on each one. Then once you've done all of that, you've produced all of that, okay, only then do I want you to go back, look at what you produced, or look at the transcript and let me know if anything is factually incorrect. Okay. So that's, you can see it's just recorded my voice, it's converted into text. All right, I'm just going to click on go. All right, you can see all that, Mason, yeah?
Beautiful.
Yeah. So the idea is, well, I did that, and I know we're going to be doing quite a few videos together and so progressing our knowledge and our thinking. What I wanted to do is come back with a repeatable way, and these companion notes are really going to, I guess, sort of strengthen, if you like, the content. And
sure,
being a bit lazy, I don't want to be redoing it time and time again. And I know as much as I would like to be consistent, each time I go and write a prompt, it's going to be different. You know what I mean? So what that means then is for people viewing multiple training courses, there's just going to be a lack of consistency, and it's just not going to land quite as well.
Sure.
So you can go back and watch the previous video. You'll see that on the landing page, Airtable integration, it's summarized it. It's told us what the video covers. It talks about setting up Airtable, the integration. We got into actually planning before doing the building, and we built a 5-page landing page. And we also were able to use, an Airtable contact, enter an Airtable contact. And here's the key concepts and terminology. And then the final bit, what it's gone and said here, this is said, well, these are the things it's checked, and these are possibly some of the inconsistencies. I think what this was a little bit about the 67% figure, it being cheaper for Opus and than Sonnet. This is true, but it depends how you kind of use it. What it's saying is, oh, this, when I mentioned the $20 plan, yeah, that is true. I've just entered a single prompt there. Look, the reality of it, what happened was I went back and forth maybe 6 or 7 times. I may have said, write me a summary, do this, do that, and then finally I ended up with this like this, yeah. And what I could do is I could say, all right, this is something I want to repeat, yeah. Can you write a prompt for me? And I think this is a really good technique, is that you write your prompt, or you have your conversation, and then you go back to Claude and say, look, write me a really good prompt, yeah? Yeah.
Yeah, just go back and forth like a conversation until you get, oh, I like that output. Okay, now let's.
Yeah, that's right. And
yeah,
you don't have to do this step for the skill, but I like to do it. Okay. So we've got the prompt. You can see that now. So you can also paste your transcript here. Okay. So look, I can go, right, okay, yeah, that's pretty neat. What I'm wanting to do is sort of convert this, I guess, prompt into a skill. But rather than paste in my transcript, what I'm looking to do is upload my transcript. So can you tell me what the steps are in creating a skill and just guide me through that process? Okay. Right. So by setting user / create skill, I kind of forget to say it. Just speak to Claude and it will probably know what you're asking.
Yeah.
Just use the word skill.
Because
Right.
yeah, when you say that, when you reference skill, right? Aren't skills
Yeah.
invoked when Claude Code determines
Yeah.
it's basically good to use or good to invoke
Yeah.
based on what you're asking it to do?
That's right. Okay. So it's saying, okay, write the skill.md file. Now, let's go back a year ago. This is how you would have done it. You would have done everything manually, test it, iterate it, package it up. So we will see a .skill file. Sometimes you see it and sometimes you don't, but behind the scenes, it's really just a zip file that contains the folders and files associated with it, okay? So, okay, it's saying we're in good shape. It is going to generate it for me, right? So let's have a look at this. So yes, go ahead. Okay, so it's looking and it's going to copy the existing skill to a writable location, update it, and then package it up. And most likely it's going to write it to, as I say, that public, not public, that global folder of mine.
Yep.
And what we're going to see is that we'll have a folder with a skill name. Then ideally it would have 3 subfolders, things like scripts, references, and I forget what the last was. Look at the previous sort of slide. And the files will go in there. Okay, so what we're seeing now is it's telling us what it's done. It's gone and created the skill. Okay, so if I click download, right, it's downloading the skill. Okay, I'm not going to do that. And if I download it, I could rename the extension skill to .zip and then unzip it and look at the file. So I'm just going to save the skill. Okay. So it's saying there's already one there. And why is that the case? Because I did a little practice run last night. Upload and replace. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go into a new session. And I'm going to upload this transcript here. Okay. And I'm just going to say, look, I've attached a transcript. And what it's basically of a training course, a 1-hour workshop. And what I'd like you to do is write some companion notes. Straight away, it's identified that companion note skill. Do you see that?
Nice.
So when you're using Claude, do look at what it's producing. It'll kind of help. And it's done it. That's pretty good, eh? So what it means is like at the end of this training course or this video, I can get hold of the transcript and that's all I need to do is go on and will tell me what the new video is about, the systems thinking approach, the terminology, and what I probably should have possibly removed this bit. What this bit is the fact check. What I want to do is I'm not going to publish that. I'm going to look at it and see if anything was wrong, kind of thing.
Sure.
But that's the idea. We could have extended the skill then. So what it would do is it would have produced it in a Word document. Okay. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go on to demo number 2, and so Mason's going to do this, and I'm going to help you through. I just sort of prompting your way.
Guide me through it.
Going to guide you through it. What I'd like you to do first of all, though, is just explain, to us all what you've done in the past using Remotion, why you used Remotion. Just a brief one. We don't need to speak about it too much, and then we'll look at, well, why is it of benefit to wrap it up in a skill and make it repeatable? Okay, so I'll stop sharing my screen now.
Cool. So as a content creator, I'm making videos as often as I can, and to speed things up, I'm trying to utilize this tool called Remotion. where it generates essentially B-roll footage for me that I can slap onto my videos. So it's not just me talking, a talking head. Sometimes I like that, sometimes I don't, but I can slap this B-roll footage that Remotion spins up for me, which has all these motion graphics that are very entertaining, and it keeps attention essentially. So I have this project folder inside of Cloud Code where we're utilizing Remotion, but what I want to do is I want to create a skill to make it quicker from cool, I just recorded the video, I have a new project. All I want to do is hop into this project with Cloud Code and go, hey, I have a new project, what to do, right? And then it just basically goes in, creates all the assets, copies the template over, and just gets brainstorming segment ideas, like motion graphic ideas that I can be like, yes, I like 1 and 2. I don't like number 3. Let's change number 4. Go ahead. Let's start. So I want a skill that basically just speed runs that whole process.
Yeah.
I don't have to re-prompt myself, if that makes sense, every single time.
All right. That's good. What we could have done, we could have recorded all that in there, and that probably would have been enough to get started with a skill. Okay.
Probably, yeah, exactly.
I only thought that was my job, so I kind of failed on that. But what I
No, all
want you to
good.
do now is
We can redo that.
I want you to give it. You're going to click on the record or whatever, or you're going to type just a very short summary. So it's going to say, "Hey, I want a skill. The name of the skill is this. Here's a very brief description." And there's an input and output. The input's an audio file. The output is this Remotion video. So just give it a go. Doesn't matter if it's not 100% perfect, because we can always refine it. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Sounds good. So inside Cloud Code, I'm just going to dictate. Hey, so this is my Remotion projects. I use Remotion for B-roll footage. I need you to create me a skill where anytime I have a new project, a new video where I need B-roll footage, I need that project folder created. I need the template file essentially copied into that new project folder. And then I need to, what you're going to have access to is an SRT file. And that SRT file is at a word level. So it has all the timestamps of everything that's spoken in the transcript of the video at a word level. And so based on that, I want this skill to also start brainstorming segments essentially for ideas for B-roll footage, and then provide that to me.
Excellent.
Something like that. We'll see if that.
Just click enter or click that up arrow, and yeah, I can see you hovering over the edit automatically. We talked about that in the previous video. So just
do yes, allow. What I'm going to do, just so the viewers can know, instead of having to constantly just say yes, 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 I'm going to just live dangerously and bypass permissions right now, because it's a really safe thing that I'm doing in a safe project. I'm not scared about that.
That's good. Yeah, it does speed up things. And last week we talked about if we got a bigger project to do, it may take an hour. You go away, have your lunch, come back, it's all done. Only if you clicked on that button. Yeah, good. All right. So there you go. And what I am seeing is that even with the bypass permissions, sometimes initially it is prompting us a little bit more than it was in the past. And it's obviously Anthropic trying to get that balance right in how secure things should be. Yeah.
That makes sense.
All right. Yeah. So look, I'm reading through it. So what I can see, it says find example of skill files, right? So it's doing its thing. It's going into marketplaces. So it's looking up some of your plugins, the skill direct, then it's going to create the skill directory. Now, what we may want to do is you could even stop what you've got here, and we can say, hey, just keep running here. Like what we could do is just point it to the audio file. Because normally I think, Mason, what would happen is that you would have gone through and you would have created the animation, and then what you would have done is gone, all right, now go create me a skill. And because you've created the animation, this context window, it already knows which audio file you were using. We're coming in here as a fresh start, yeah? Okay, so that's cool. So yeah, for people that are not familiar with SRT files and beats, can you just describe to me what those two terms mean?
Yeah, let me just open up really quick and that'll be even better. So let me open, I'm going to open it up in a text editor. So this is essentially what an SRT file would look like. Again, this is just it's .srt is the extension, and it's essentially the transcript. It's every spoken word of my video broken down into the word and the timestamp, like the duration. So you can see all the numbers, like there comes a point where, and then it's just, so that's what an SRT file is.
Okay, and then if I look where it says number 7 and 8, like we can see the timestamp for AI and images. Okay, so obviously what it means is if AI knows that it's at those particular timestamps, it has the right information to maybe display the text on your screen, isn't it? That's
At the exact at the exact time that I speak those words. Yes, correct.
Because what I've noticed in the last month, it's kind of, you can see content creators, they're using this or something similar, aren't they? There's more of it that's a bit more engaging, I think.
It is very more, it's a lot more engaging, and it saves the creator a lot of time because I can actually read a script and not look at the camera, knowing that I'm just going to have B-roll footage cover that section of the video. It's very nice.
Yeah. And then beats, what are beats then?
So the beats are essentially segments. So when I'm telling Claude Code to generate that skill to help me start generating those beats, those like brainstorm ideas, it's essentially, you can swap that out for a segment. So like a 2-second motion graphic that just conveys an idea, if that makes sense. So I'm happy to pull one up right now.
Let's have a look then.
Let's have a look, and just so you can see what I'm talking about. So let's go into, so here is one. This is with my last GPT image 2 compared to Nano Banana 2. So this is just one of those segments. This is essentially what we're creating. So this is B-roll footage that I slap over the video as I'm talking in the background. This motion graphic appears, and it shows that, if that makes it a little more clear of what I'm trying to accomplish with Remotion.
Yeah, just play one more time so we can have a quick look.
Sure. So, here's another one.
All right. Yeah. So we can see there 5-8 seconds, and then these images are appearing. Yeah,
these were a lot longer segments or beats.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right.
Cool. And if I wanted to, right, I don't like that name, but this is just for demo purposes. I'd probably say the skill should be named New Remotion Project or something like that. That's what I would go for.
That's right. And like what you could do here is maybe now just say, look, you could say the way I would use the skill, I would say words like, you describe how you would ask this skill to be invoked. Maybe go create me a Remotion animation for this intro. Or so, because what we've got the skill name, we've got the skill description, and we want to make sure within the skill description that whenever we say something, we pick up the keywords, it invokes it, sort of thing. Yeah. All right.
So what I'm saying is this skill should be invoked when I say something along the lines of, I have a new video that needs, or I could even probably just leave it at that. Hey, I have a new video, right?
That's it. I mean, and I wouldn't overthink it. What's going to happen is the first 3 times it's going to work, and the 4th time it's not going to work because perhaps you didn't. To be honest, it nearly always works, but if it doesn't work, you just need to think, okay, well, perhaps the description needs to be better. That's all.
Yep.
And if you've gone and created another skill that's very similar, AI, 90% of the time it may choose this one, 10% of the time it may choose another one, because we know it's all about predictability, isn't it? So we want our skills to be kind of unique, and they do what they need to do. Yeah. And there's limited overlap.
Yeah.
All right.
Makes sense.
Cool. All right. So where are we at now then?
So it essentially just took what I said and said, awesome, I updated the trigger for you. So
yeah. Okay, cool.
Nice. So it'll basically fire off when I say, hey, I have a new video. Is that
Yeah.
something you would like to demo if we have time? I know we're kind of getting short on time.
Yeah, maybe just what we'll do quickly is just if you go to the Claude folder and if we go, let's have a look. Okay, yeah. All right, okay. Yeah, so I think what it's done is probably gone and created a global skill for you.
Yes.
So and all that means is that it's created the skill and it's accessible in all projects. Okay.
In any
Yeah.
Claude Code project that I have, I can
That,
invoke that.
that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Which has
And
its use cases, I'm sure.
what we're going to do now is, and yeah, watch Mason's videos, you're going to see a lot more of this in action. So we've gone
Absolutely.
through the theory here, and you're going to see the results. And for new creators, it's a little bit daunting because the time taken to edit videos is just so significant, isn't it? So if you learn this technology, you're going to be able to get your brand or get your name out there. So I just really want to kind of summarize what we've covered, okay? And I encourage you to go back and look at the slides. We looked at what the skills are. So technically, yes, they are prompts and they do have code or scripts associated with them, but they're really assets, yeah? So they're giving you that advantage. They're making things repeatable, and providing you've given them good descriptions, you can invoke them just as you would naturally speak to your colleagues. The task would go and get done. We then looked at the differences between skills, commands, and also the CLAUDE.md file. Yeah, so it's like, it's funny in that it's good to understand the differences, yeah, but when it comes between skills and commands, you can be a bit pragmatic. As long as you're getting the job done, everything is good. So don't get too caught up in the theory. Make sure that you're progressing, that you're getting through things quicker. So what I'd encourage you then for everybody is to go and to try building one skill this week. And maybe the easiest way to do that is when you've had a conversation with Claude, and you're probably in Claude Desktop, at the end of the conversation, say, hey, I like that. Go create me a Claude skill. And you give it a name, you give it a description. And perhaps you can then, once you've done that, try calling the skill, yeah? And maybe you want to optimize it. And honestly, it'll take you no more than 30 minutes. And yeah, you're good to go. So hopefully that's the start of you winning more time back, and you're able to kind of transform what you do, really, so you can focus on your business rather than working in your business, really.
Nice. Well said. I agree with all that.
But it's really just get in, give it a go. That's the way you're going to learn. Yeah.
That was very easy. Yeah, dive in, get your hands dirty. It's Claude
Yeah.
Code is doing most of the work for you, and it can fill in the gaps that you miss. Like that, when I was dictating, I missed some things, and it basically just filled in the gaps for me for a version 1 at least, right? It's not that complicated.
No, that's right. And look, I could have gone about it in 10 different ways, trying to explain how to go about doing it. And like from an academic approach, a theoretical approach, or from just trying to engage and win views. But ultimately, just speak to it like you're going to speak to your colleague, and it will guide you through the process. And just keep asking questions. And let's say it's gone and created it and you don't know how it's created it. Just say then, well, tell me what you did to explain the process to me. And you get a bit more of a deeper understanding, and then that will help improve your second, third, fourth, and fifth skills. And finally, the skills then, they're not just for building what you did there, which was, if you like, kind of a software related or web app related. The one that I took was more business focused, wasn't it? It was writing up documents. So they're there for, multiple functions, really.
Well, good stuff.
Right,
I appreciate it, Ben. Thank you for your time. Thank you for that presentation and everything, all the gold nuggets you shared with us today. That was great.
No, you're welcome, and see you next time.